Tweet, LeBron wrote this: "You're next. Hashtag accountability." And the Fraternal Order of Police is blasting him, writing, "LeBron James, with his vast resources and influence, should educate himself and, frankly, has a responsibility to do so on the facts before weighing in. This is disgraceful and extremely reckless. The officer saved a young girl's life. No amount of gaslighting will change that fact." Joe Gamaldi is with us now. He's National Vice President for the Fraternal Order of Police and joins us now. So, let's look back at that Columbus case. You know, if LeBron James was looking at reports in almost every other media outlet, you would think the cop just got out of the car and started shooting. You realize that, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredibly reckless and dangerous what he did. And frankly, athletes shouldn't be weighing in on political issues. They should stick to what they're good at, which is playing sports. And Axios poll actually says that the majority of Americans agree with me. But you know what? This is America. And if they want to weigh in, fine. But you have a responsibility with a platform that size to do your research and to get it right. He tweeted that out to 50 million people. It was dangerous. It was reckless. And it's no different than Joy Behar going on The View the other day and saying that officers should be firing off warning shots, even though that's prohibited by every agency and flies in the laws of physics, because what goes up must come down. But you have people that are weighing in on these issues who are not doing their research. They're talking about it. We should be able to karate chop the knife out of the hand or roundhouse kick it. This is ridiculous crap that is not grounded in fact. And we are sitting on a powder keg in this country, and they're just willing to throw sparks on it. But the National Fraternal Order of Police is willing to sit down with anyone that's willing to have a fact-based discussion, because we all want to work towards the same goal, which is reducing officer-involved shootings in this country. But until we acknowledge as a society that the other person involved in that incident with the officer has a tremendous responsibility on whether or not that officer uses force or not, we're going to continue in this doom cycle where we have a controversial incident, we yell at each other, and nothing gets solved. It's real easy to tweet, but now it's time to sit down and meet and discuss these issues.
Joe, is this number accurate? Roughly 10 million interactions with police officers a year in the United States of America?
Yes, absolutely. 10 million arrests. We're talking there's hundreds of millions of contacts every single year. And you know how many unarmed black individuals were shot by police? 15. Hundreds of millions of contacts. It is exceedingly rare that it ends in an officer-involved shooting. But if all you watched on the media, you would think that that's all that we do out there. Right. And frankly, we're not even having a larger discussion about the huge increase in violent crime in our country right now. In Portland, murders are up 1,600%. In Columbus, Ohio, where there was another young girl stabbed, another incident that no one's paying attention to, their murders are up 100%. And until we start having a conversation about the violent crime increases and the causes of it, the lack of educational opportunities for people in urban communities. And we have influential people on Twitter, like a former advisor to President Obama, trying to gaslight the American public and normalize knife fights and teenagers stabbing one another instead of talking about these real issues. I mean, Jesus, how deep does this rabbit hole go?
Joe, you are fired up enough to actually get a word in at my dinner table growing up. Winston Hills, Ohio, is what you're referring to. A 13-year-old girl was stabbed in the neck by another 13-year-old girl and died. No police were there to prevent the violence from taking place. And Valerie Jarrett is tweeting out, it was just a knife fight. Why did he come in shooting? Just a knife fight. Unbelievable. Joe, I appreciate it. You know what you need? You got to balance out these conversations with people like you to give it the perspective of law enforcement, because in too many places, you're forced to be the parent. You are the only discipline in a lot of these situations, and now you end up being the bad guy. And cops are the problem in America. I don't know how we got onto that track, but it's just not the case. Joe, thanks so much.
Thanks so much for having me on. Everybody who's watching, you have an open invitation to sit down at the table and talk about these issues.
Absolutely. And you are into some police reform. We did talk about that. We'll have you back at another time. You're open to it. Get more training in there. There are certain things that everybody's on the same page with. And just let's work in a proactive way. Thanks, Joe.